Sukiyaki is a Japanese dish which is served in a pot and often prepared over an open flame at the table. It consists of meat, ideally some kind of Wagyu beef, vegetables and other ingredients such as tofu or jelly noodles. It is a traditional Japanese meal and also one of my personal favorites. Wagyu beef is famous for its intense marbling, its softness and richness in taste. The beef from Kobe being probably the most prominent example. However, there are also lesser known breeds of other regions in Japan. One of them is Nagano Prefecture's Shinshū-gyu. The prefecture is famous for its apples, and so it is not surprising that the cattle are on an apple diet during their lifetimes. Last weekend I tried both, Sukiyaki with Nagano's Shinshū Wagyu beef. And I will show you how it was right after the intro. My wife, another person and I went to Sukiyaki, a picturesque Japanese-style restaurant and hotel in Nagano City. It is located at the foot of one of the many mountains that surround the city and has a beautiful view on a small Japanese garden. Inside of the lovingly set up restaurant, you can either sit at a normal Western style table or at a Japanese style one on tatami. We chose the second option. The prices in this restaurant for a Sukiyaki menu range from 3,500 to 9,000 yen, with the most expensive and best beef being rare and not always available. As a starter we received Gyu shigoreni, a strongly seasoned beef, and rapeseed topped with bonito flakes. This raw egg will later be beaten and the ingredients of the Sukiyaki will then be dipped into it. And this is the stage on which the main action of this video will take place. Since the apples in Nagano are so good, I took apple juice to my meal, which turned out to be the best apple juice I have ever had. Once the first cup of apple juice was finished and most of the starters were eaten, the stars of the evening arrived. 9 thin slices of delicious Shinshū beef. The flame was switched on and the fat in the pot quickly melted. The beef was placed in the pot by the skilled hands of our waitress and the mouth-watering cooking process began. Let's have a watch and enjoy for a little bit. After a short while, warishita, a mixture consisting of soy sauce, sake, sugar, mirin and dashi, was added. This sauce adds a sweet but subtle taste. Like most of the Japanese cuisine, Sukiyaki's nuances in taste are very fine, but not too fine so that Western tongues can still worship them. Quickly after that, the meat was put into the bowls with the beaten eggs and ready to be eaten. While we were eating our meat, new warishita sauce was added to the pot, followed by tofu and vegetables. A bit of water was added and the vegetables began turning into delicious side dishes. We waited patiently. In the meanwhile, a side that is mandatory for every Japanese meal had arrived: rice. Once the vegetables in the pot were ready, they were served in the bowls with the egg as well. Tofu, mushrooms, spring onions and onions, cooked in the juices of the Wagyu beef, warishita sauce and water to the point that they were not raw but still crunchy, dipped into the beaten egg and then eaten. As soon as everybody had been served, it was time for Shinshū beef round 2. followed by the second round of vegetables. Even the tea was delicious. Stimulated by the green tea, I decided to try and put the meat into the pot myself. When you compare how I'm grabbing the meat to the way the waitress grabbed it in the beginning, you can clearly see the difference. I'm holding it only at one spot, which caused the thinly sliced beef to rip apart at some places. But it was still edible. Over the different rounds, the meat and the remaining vegetables mix more and more, adding different nuances of taste to both of them. Unfortunately, this was already the last round, but the third person we had been with was already full, so my wife and I got to share the last piece. In case you have ever wondered, this is how you separate beef using chopsticks. In the end, the rice was gone, same as the meat, vegetables, and everything else. Since I'm a huge fan of matcha and green tea, after a delicious meal, matcha ice is a must. So here's a little bit of meaningful time lapse. So that was Sukiyaki with Nagano's Shinshu Wagyu beef. Skite, the restaurant we went to, is 1.8 kilometers or 1.1 miles from Nagano station, which I would still consider to be walking distance. Nagano city itself can be reached from Tokyo in about 90 minutes by bullet train. You can find a link to the restaurant in the description box, which is right below the like button. Many thanks for watching and see you next time.